If you're a parent, you've got a million things to worry about, right? From scraped knees to homework, but how often do we really think about our kids' vision? Well, there's a growing concern called myopia, you probably know it as nearsightedness, and it's showing up in more and more kids and younger ages. And this is about way more than just a new pair of glasses. It's about setting them up for a lifetime of healthy eyes. It sounds like a dramatic question, doesn't it? Is the world getting blurrier for our kids? But honestly, it's a question eye doctors are asking with some real urgency these days. The numbers don't lie. More children are developing nearsightedness, and it's starting earlier than ever. So today, we're going to dig into why this is happening, and more importantly, what it means for our kids' future. All right, so to really wrap our heads around this, let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly is myopia? Or, as we all call it, nearsightedness. So here's the official definition. It's that classic situation you've probably seen. Your kid can read a book or look at a tablet right in front of them, no problem at all. But when they look up at the board in the classroom or try to read a sign down the street, it's just a fuzzy blur. That's myopia in a nutshell. But what's actually happening inside the eye to make things blurry? Well, it really just comes down to a little bit of physics. See, in a typical eye, light comes in and focuses perfectly on the retina, which is at the very back of the eye. Think of it like a movie projector hitting the screen just right. But with a myopic eye, the eyeball itself has actually grown a little bit too long. And because of that extra length, the light now focuses in front of the retina, not on it. So by the time that image actually hits the back of the eye, it's already out of focus. And that's what causes the blur. Okay, and this is maybe the most important part of this whole conversation, especially for kids. Myopia isn't usually a one-and-done kind of thing. As a child grows, their eyeball can keep getting longer, which means their vision can get worse and worse over time. And this is what eye doctors call myopia progression. Eye doctors have a way to measure this. They use a unit called a diopter. You've probably seen it on your glasses prescription as a D. For nearsightedness, it's always a negative number. Now you can see here there's a range for low myopia, and anything beyond -6 is considered high myopia. Now here's the tricky part to remember. A lower number is actually a stronger prescription. So a -7 is worse than a -6. For parents, the real worry is seeing that number get bigger or lower every single year at the checkup. So all of this is leading to a really profound shift in how the eye care world is looking at childhood myopia. We're moving from just being reactive to being proactive. It's a whole new mindset for protecting a child's vision. For decades, the goal was super simple. Correction. You get a pair of glasses to make your child's vision clear right now. But that didn't do anything to stop the underlying problem, right? The eyeball was still getting longer. The new revolutionary goal is control. The entire focus has shifted to actively slowing down that eyeball growth. It's not just about today's vision, it's about protecting their vision for the rest of their life. So if the goal is now control, the big question is, how do you do it? Well, that brings us to a huge breakthrough in lens technology that is completely changing the game for kids with myopia.
For so long, the story was always the same. You go to the eye doctor and you get a stronger prescription. Every year, a little bit worse. But that story is finally changing.
71%. Just look at that number for a second. That is not a small improvement. That's a massive leap forward. But what does it actually represent? Here's what that number is all about. A major 2-year study found that these special lenses, Essilor Stellest lenses, slowed down that myopia progression we talked about by an average of 71% when compared to standard glasses. This is exactly what we mean when we talk about shifting from simple correction to active, powerful control. And look, this isn't just some marketing claim. This is a legitimate medical milestone. This technology is the first and the only lens of its kind to be market authorized by the FDA specifically for myopia progression control. That's a huge deal. It's setting a whole new standard of care. So, this is all really fascinating science, I know, but what does it actually mean for you as a parent? What are the practical, real-world steps you can take with all this information? All right, here's your game plan. It's pretty simple. Step 1, recognize the signs. If you see your child squinting to see the TV or something down the street, that's a huge red flag. Step 2, change your mindset. The next time you go to the eye doctor, don't just think about getting a new prescription, think about a long-term strategy for slowing this whole thing down. And step 3, this is the most important one, talk to an expert. Ask your eye care professional specifically about myopia management and what the modern options are. So we'll just leave you with this final thought. Managing your child's vision isn't just about what they can see today anymore. By making that switch from simple correction to active control, we actually have the power to change how they see the world for the rest of their lives. It's about giving them the clearest future we possibly can.